Good afternoon, everyone. And this time I did get it right. Thank you guys for joining in today. Um, I wanted to have this little impromptu um, session, online video, and podcast as well. I'm trying to do this simultaneously um, to speak on a very important fact that has affected so many and still affecting some right now. It is the suicide attempt rate in teenagers. Suicide attempt rate in teenagers. Um, Parents, this goes out to you guys. Clearly, this goes out to you guys. Get involved in your teenager's life. I don't care what they have going on. I don't care what extracurricular activities they are in. I don't care if it makes you seem uncool and the overbearing parent. Get involved in your teenager's life. We live in a day and age now where when I was coming along, there was not an easy access to communication to the outside of the home. If you didn't see your friends in school or go outside to play with them, then there was really no talking on the phone except for some of those who were able to do it. And then you had a time limit, and then, you had your parents eavesdropping on you as well. I want to let you know this. We're in a very different age. The age that we're in now is definitely a communication age, the digital age, the social media age. Is to the point that our children, teenagers now, they have access to outside influences out of your control. Out of your control. With that being said, we must instill in our children at an early age the importance. When we were coming along, it was don't talk to strangers, right? Don't get in the car with strangers. If someone approaches you, stranger danger kind of thing. We are now in a age where these outside influences come in very subtle ways. Okay. Musically, and then TikTok, and then some of these children apps that are supposed to be for children, they are not just children or teenagers on these apps. They're predators, adults who are looking to influence our children, harm our children, and eventually overtake our children. So, why is it important to get into our teenagers' lives? I'm saying children, but I'm speaking of the teenage realm. I want to read this to you from the National Institute of Health. 1 in 100,000 children aged 10 to 14 die by suicide each year. 7 in 100,000 youth ages 15 to 19 die by suicide each year. Okay. Now we can this is on a national level, but we can break it down by state level as well. We're looking at this. Bullying happens in schools, but it used to only happen in schools. Now it's happening on the social media stage, and they're calling it cyberbullying, but it's still just bullying, where especially in our young teenage girls. Okay. It's gotten to the point that if you don't look a certain way, if you don't act a certain way, if you don't have certain things, you're not in the in crowd. You know, you're just not cool. You're not, you know, part of our little clique, so to speak. We need to instill in our teenagers that regardless of what they see on TV, in social media, or any other platform, that they are still important in our lives, and that materialistic things does not make them who they are. So, parents, we need to really look at what's going on. Bullying, cyberbullying, any type of bullying, okay? Instill in your children the comfortability to come and sit down and talk with you. My daughter knows that when I ask, how was your day at school? She knows she has to spell out everything. Now, some things she's a little hesitant to tell me, but that's not because the door isn't open for her to tell me. She thinks it's more of a mommy-daughter type thing instead of daddy-daughter. But then eventually my wife comes to me and she's like, hey, babe, I'm going to have Autumn tell you what happened. I'm like, okay, fine. And 9 times out of 10, my daughter goes to a very good school. They're good kids over there. But 9 times out of 10 is some type of little, you know, she's only 9 or 8, but it's some type of little school kid skirmish or whatever. But that door of comfortability is open for her. Same thing that goes with my 20-year-old in college. He knows that he can come to me. Nowadays, it's easier to text dad. Dad is tech savvy, so yeah, I can text dad. And he can talk to me about anything that's going on in college. He knows that I'm not afraid to talk to any college administrator or any college kid for that matter. And I will steer him in the right direction on what to do if he feels as though he needs to handle it himself. So he knows that he's able to come and talk to me. My 9-year-old son, same thing. He knows I can go to my dad and talk to my dad. So, you know, we have to have that openness and open door for our kids, especially our teenagers and even our older elementary school kids. They're on social medias now, and you know, they have their own little platform to interact with strangers online, so they can do this, and you not even know it. We don't know who these people are on TikTok. We don't know who these people are on some of these what they label as children apps. We don't know who they are. Go through, if they have a phone. I mean, I understand today, in this day and age, over the Christmas last year, we both, my 8-year-old and 9-year-old, they both got phones. So communication is a need today because of just the way society has turned. And you have to, and I'm not going to say not trust your children, but I have developed the fact of not trusting who they interact with. So yes, I'm on their phone. I'm checking it. I'm seeing what they're doing, especially my daughter. And that son, the son of mine, I'm definitely checking behind him because he wants to be Mr. Macho. Check behind him. And this lets them know that, hey, look, if I see something wrong on my device, my mom or dad is going to look at this phone and I'm not going to get caught. It's all about setting a precedent, laying down some foundational rules, setting boundaries, not letting them have their phone at night. They don't need it for bedtime story, nighttime stories. Get Alexa, get Google Home. They can play stories on that while they're going to sleep. And even be careful with that. Make sure that you know what they're listening to. There was some little crazy thing that came up on YouTube a few months back about something that was popping up on YouTube. Be mindful of what your children are doing. Be mindful of it. Now, I'm going to end this this session with this. Suicidal facts. The facts behind suicide comes from a feeling of unwantedness, despair, and neglect. Our teenagers in this age bracket, our teenagers need us in their lives so heavily because this is where they're developing their social personality. And they need us in their lives. You know, yeah, we're doing our own thing on social media as adults, and there's so much out there for us to see. You know, we're living in a world where, in a country where our politics right now is crazy. So yes, it is going to, you know, steer you. I mean, right now, I think politics is better than any daytime drama on TV. And then we're encapsulated with our own lifestyle. However, we cannot neglect our teenage kids by just turning a blind eye to what they do. We have to be involved in their lives. So folks, look, we can make it happen. We can save our children. We can make a difference in their lives. And, you know, you should want to do this. You should want to do this out of love and concern for your child. This is something you should want to do as a parent. You brought them in the world. Take care of them while they're here. Pray for them. Pray with them. If you're in a spiritual organization, church, or what have you, take them to church. Take them to mosque. Take them to mass. Whatever it is, get them involved in something where there is quality time. Even if it's to the point where we're saying, hey, let's put our phones down for a while. We're going to have family time. We're going to watch a movie. An hour movie, it's not going to kill us. You're not missing anything. Trust me. And then the main thing is have an open line of communication, not just directive talk, but communication, feedback from them. What's going on in their world? Because trust me, their world is definitely different from the world that you grew up in as a teenager. I'm 42, and I see how the world has changed since 1990 something. It's a different world. Be involved. Be there. That is the most important thing. Being there for your child. I know this went on a little bit longer than expected, but I don't want to hear of another suicide attempt, even though it may happen. In my practice, I don't want to hear of another suicide attempt. Listen, get them the help. Spend the money. It doesn't matter. Nothing is more important than your child's well-being. Nothing is more important than your child's well-being. Get them the help if they need it. Okay? Thank you, people. I hope that we all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Please keep my family in prayer. We had a death in the family. My wife's grandfather passed, and we will be going to the services for him in Virginia. So keep them in prayer and close in your hearts. And let's just keep loving one another. Keep loving your children. Keep loving yourself. All right. Thanks, people. Hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.